the Buda Belly podcast. I am your host, Brent Buda. My guest today is a director of North America Channel and Alliances at the company R Store, a former account executive at such companies as Tread Micro, Optiv, OpSource, and Exodus, as well as a big and small game hunter, also known as my father, Craig Buda. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I guess the first thing that I wanted to ask is, so you're a director of North American Channel and Alliances. What does that mean, and what exactly are your responsibilities in that position?
Yeah, so for the last 25 years, I've always been a sales rep at a high-tech company. I've always been the first sales guy that that companies hire to make rain and get business going. And at this company, our store, which I joined 2 years, I just had my 2-year anniversary. I was the first sales rep. Brought in a bunch of clients, but I also brought in a bunch of channel partners and technology alliance partners. So channel partners are companies. They're in business to resell your product. So they brought me a lot of business. I figured instead of me going and cold calling all these customers, I'm going to go recruit my own sales force, which is my channel partners, and create this channel program to help me win business and help the company, get more business. So, and then on the alliances piece, those are other technology companies that integrate with our product and make a good solution for the clients. So, companies, so they don't really resell our product or we don't resell their product, but what it does is it makes a packaged good solution, our products together for the client. And so I manage the whole program in North America for the company, both on the channel resell partner side, and then on the alliances side.
Oh, okay. So the alliances are
technology companies that play nice with our product, with our technology.
So like people you just regularly do business with.
Right.
It just in a nutshell for the people that don't follow business, and so just dumb it down for them a little bit.
Yeah, they're business partners. They're friends of the family.
Okay, yeah. All right, so now we have that all cleared up, and so all right, let's get to the big enchilada. You have a very fascinating story about one of the companies that you were a part of when it was starting up, and that would be the company of Exodus, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So when did Exodus actually officially start? Was it like in a garage like Apple? Was it like what was the setting like? Was there a Wozniak with a perm?
It was actually two guys from India and Filipino former Marine sergeant sharing office space in a incubator in San Jose, and came up with the idea. So, kind of goes back to how I started in technology sales. As you know, I played college baseball at Chico State, and I went over to Italy and played some pro ball, and I came back to get my master's because I was going to be a college baseball coach. Well, it's right when your mom and I were engaged, and
tell that story about how you actually got the job.
Right. So she was working at the mall in Santa Clara, running a retail store, and I was coaching baseball, going to school at night to get my master's, and we were need more money. So I went to Manpower, which is a temp agency, and said, "Hey, I need to work like 6 hours in the morning, like 6 to noon, because I needed to be on the baseball field at 1." And they got me a job at this reseller, channel partner of Cisco's in Los Gatos, called Federal Communications, and my job was to smile and dial. I just had to pick up the phone and make appointments and try to sell stuff over the phone for the outside sales guys. And I started doing really well. and one of our manufacturer reps that we resold his product at this company. He was Fred Sabayan, who was the Filipino Marine Sergeant that started Exodus with the two Indian gentlemen.
Wow.
And,
So like some veterans like got behind the wheel.
oh yeah, Purple Heart too. So he's
Oh really? So he took a.
Vietnam War hero, Fred Sabayan.
Oh wow. So he took a bullet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh. Oh.
Sergeant Sabayan.
Sergeant Sabayan. If that's not a TV show, I don't know what is.
So he took a liking to me, and we started playing golf. He'd take me out to lunch, and he said one day, he said, Craig, he said, sales or athletes make good salespeople. He goes, you should think of it as a career. And I said, how so? And he said, teamwork, always wanting to win, work ethic. It's the same, right? Same being a competitive athlete and a competitive salesperson. So he said, I shared this office space with these two Indian guys, and we're gonna start an internet company, and I want you to be my first salesperson. I said, first of all, I don't even know what the hell the internet is.
For all people my 25 and younger, yeah, there was a time when we had no internet. It was a fairly new concept,
Right.
And people like my father here were ignorant to the whole idea of like it was like a science fiction book or a science fiction story to them at that point.
I didn't know how to turn a computer on. I didn't take a computer class in college or anything. So I said, first of all, I don't know what the internet is. Second of all, I'm going to be a college baseball coach. That's what I want to do.
Right.
So,
because you were an athlete your entire life.
Right. So he didn't take no for an answer. And at the time, your mother and I became friends with Fred and his wife Sherry, and we'd gone out to dinner, had a few glasses of wine in the past. So he decided to take Mom, my wife, to dinner and lay out the comp plan, the commission plan, and how much money I could make. Next thing you know, she comes barging through the door and says, you're going to do this. And if you don't like it, you can go back to coaching baseball. So, I said, okay. So I did it, and I walked in the door.
And if people saw the house that we live in, obviously the money is nice.
So I walked in, the door, and at that time we were called Net USA. I was number 5 employee. We were 7 people. I was the only sales guy, the first sales guy. And at the time, I was selling dedicated dial-up internet connectivity, ISDN connectivity. But the smart thing that our two founders said was, we're only going to focus on business. We're only going to sell to business. We're not going to sell to mom and pop at home. At that time, they had dial-up connections to Netcom or PSI. You probably hear those commercials where it goes and it downloads.
Oh yeah, that's
really? How we got on the internet back then.
Oh my gosh, yeah, where it took forever just to download.
Right. So they figured, hey, businesses are going to start using this internet thing, and they're going to need larger connections and faster connections, right? So I walked in, I had a phone and a Riches Guide, no computer. A Riches Guide at that time was think of it as a yellow pages for business, and it had every business in the Silicon Valley, the list of the executives, their telephone number, and their address.
Yeah, today we just Google,
right.
Facebook,
so
type in a name.
So
we're spoiled.
From 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. at night, I was just pounding the phones, getting appointments, and we started selling it, man. I mean, we were selling it to businesses, and then there was another company called Net USA back east, so they sent us a nasty letter and said, hey, you need to change your name. And
oh, so you almost went to war just over
yeah,
naming
and I still
rights?
have my I have all my business cards. It's funny because Fred used to print off my business cards in a sheet, and you used to have to tear them off, so they're all perforated on the edges.
Oh, really?
Those are my business cards. And I had one suit that your grandmother bought me that changed colors in the light.
Wait, it changed colors in the light?
Everybody talks about this famous
Oh my
suit.
gosh, did you go through a LSD phase? It's
It
like,
was.
do you know how many people in Isla Vista alone or in San Francisco would kill for one of those just to go to clubbing?
Oh, I think I still have it.
Do you still
I
have
think
it?
Mom still saved
You
it.
could probably, you
She
could,
saved all my suits and all my shoes.
oh my gosh, you could,
Square-toed shoes. I mean,
oh
buckle
no way.
shoes. I mean,
Those are coming back, by the way,
oh, and I
I
was
think.
famous. I was once we got bigger, and I'll tell the story, but I was famous for wearing suspenders or braces.
You wore
Oh
suspenders?
yeah, yeah, every day.
Like the Nutty Professor?
No, these were badass suspenders.
I don't think any suspenders are badass.
But they were.
I'm
I
gonna
mean, if you
piss
look
off the
at
hipsters,
go
but
watch Wolf of Wall Street and see what they were. They were wearing suspenders underneath their suits. And
yeah, they
shirt and
were wearing
tie.
suspenders, and that's
Um,
true.
so, we were making a name for ourselves. We were doing well. We started growing and hired more salespeople and more employees. Um, and So we had to do a name change in the company. So how do you do a name change or figure out a name of a company? Back then in the Silicon Valley, you'd have a pizza and beer party,
Pizza and beer.
and you bring a dictionary or a thesaurus or I forget, whatever.
Nowadays, you take your shoes off, smoke a little grass, and you go on a hike.
Right. So our network guy,
Very blue collar guys.
our network engineer guy, he came up with the word Exodus. And it had arrows because the packets were exiting, and there was a whole story behind it. But we changed the name to Exodus.
Tell the folks what he does now for a living.
No, I don't think so.
Come
He's a
on.
little off.
He's a little off. Just FYI, he's the man that my dad's referencing to. Let's just say he's eccentric.
Yeah, he's very eccentric. So we started doing well, and uh, I was selling these circuits and these connections to businesses so they could do their thing on the internet. This was before companies used the internet for anything, but then they started figuring it out.
Yeah,
This could be a good way to advertise. This could be a good way. This was right about when Yahoo started coming. They were the first search engine.
Yahoo.
Yahoo
Yeah,
and Lycos, and I'll throw some names out there that some of these old timers might remember, and you can look in the history. But
yeah.
I came across this company called Classified 2000, which later got bought by Yahoo. And he said, Craig, he said, if I buy your connection, I have to buy another connection from the telco, and then I have to hire a geek to manage this big old server over here, which looked like this computer looked like a big refrigerator at the time.
Oh my
He
gosh.
said, why can't you just take my server and go throw it in your network closet at your office? And salespeople, I never say no. I said, but I didn't. I said, let me get back to you. So I went back to the office and I went to our founders and I said, hey, this customer was asking to do this, and I mean, what do you think? And they looked in the closet where all of our gear was, and they said, sure, why not? I said, well, how much do I charge him? How much will he pay?
That's the big question, right?
So the moral of the story, listening to the customer and their needs changed our business model and made Exodus famous. And so what we did was we started seeing more of these opportunities, and so we built data centers to house all these businesses' servers and provide them internet connectivity, so people around the world could reach their website or do business with them. As soon as we built a data center, we'd fill it up. Build another data center, fill it up. We started going nuts.
Just one after the other,
Yeah,
dropping like dominoes.
if you build it, they will come. Then we had an idea to put a data center in every NFL city around in the United States.
Oh, I bet you're happy to do business
Yeah.
with the NFL.
So, what's next? You go IPO. So in 1997, we went public. Our stock traded on the stock market. At that time, I was the number one sales rep in the world. I was the number one sales rep at Exodus every year for 5 years. And I had a lot of stock. I had founder stock. So we did quite well when we went public. Mom bought me a brand new Jaguar. We bought a new house.
I remember that Jaguar. It for as long as you had it, it never lost its new car smell. I remember.
Yeah. So we bought a lake house. We bought a lot of new toys.
I miss that lake house.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
was
gosh,
fun.
we sound like such
I
snobs.
know. I know.
Yeah, but you were making
Big
like
bucks.
big bucks back then. Like
Yeah,
you were,
both on commission and stock.
yeah, and this,
Our stock would go to $100,
yeah.
split, and go to 100. So it split 4 times.
What does that mean when the stock splits?
So let's say you have 100 shares, it goes up to 100, right? It splits. Now you have 200 shares.
Oh, okay. So it's like
So,
so it's
yeah.
basically like adding on.
Oh yeah, it was the
Oh
greatest thing. Now
man,
keep
that's
in mind
insane.
this is all during what's called the bubble, right? There
The
was
internet
the
bubble.
internet bubble. We were actually making money, but there was a lot of companies out there that went public. Stock was outrageous, but they weren't making money, and they're not around anymore, like Pets.com or Grocery.com. And there was
Never
some
heard of any of these.
yeah, they all went out of
Probably
business.
for a
And
reason.
there was IPO parties, and companies were giving away cars to come work for them.
Out of desperation.
It was crazy times, man.
Oh
Fun
wow,
times, but crazy times.
man, the heyday of the internet. Some wild ride, man.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Sergey and
Who's Sergey?
which were the two founders of Google.
Oh,
Yeah, they were in our data center. I met them. They looked like these kids, like 15-year-old kids, and I met them. And
you
they
met the
actually,
founders of Google?
oh yeah, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, look at them now.
I know. And guess what? They wanted me to come work for them, and I said no because I was like, Google, what's Google?
Oh, I bet.
Yahoo. Yahoo's the best search engine in the world. You guys
Oh
aren't going
my.
to take on Yahoo,
Oh, dude, if you worked for Google, you'd have two more houses by now.
right? I
Like,
mean,
I bet you regret that decision.
there's just a lot of stuff I regret, but
Oh man, you could have worked for
I met
Google.
I got to meet a lot of cool people along the way that started some really cool companies, right? And
Who-
being on the ground floor was really, really neat.
Yeah, who's the coolest person like that's now like making a lot of money that like you said, like you met a lot of people. Who's the coolest person you met and who's like the biggest like who did you rather not meet?
Well, probably the Google guys were
But-
cool.
Oh
The
yeah.
guys that started Hotmail, which later got bought by Microsoft, were really cool. Let's see, douchebags. I have to
If there were any.
oh no, there was. I just probably blocked them out of my mind. Let me get back to you on that one.
All right. So anyway,
But on Exodus,
yeah, back to Exodus.
we still hold the Nasdaq record for quarter-over-quarter sales growth. I mean, we eclipsed Caterpillar on the Nasdaq one. It was crazy. And then I left and thought I was going to be a VC, and Mom started her scrapbook store, and I just wanted to stay home and hang out with you guys and play golf and hunt. And
Yeah,
didn't
we were
work.
like infants.
Yeah,
Like,
it didn't work for a while, and invested in a bunch of startups, which none of them ever did anything.
right.
But it was fun, and then I got back into the business. But it's a good story. I think there needs to be a documentary or a movie on it one of these days, because people my age, people that were in the beginning of the internet,
Like remember like before the internet and when it came out and like how new it was.
they
And
all know who Exodus is.
do they
And
really?
what we did. They all do. I mean, you said Exodus. Oh yeah, I remember Exodus. But
So didn't you mention that Exodus basically had a part in like creating the cloud, the internet cloud?
yeah. I mean, pretty much we were cloud if you think about it, right?
Like the
I mean,
cloud before the cloud?
Yeah, the cloud. I mean, Amazon, AWS cloud they have data centers, they have their own compute, their servers, they have their own storage, and they have their own internet connectivity, right?
Right.
So did we. That's what we did. Although
So they're like kind of copy.
the only difference was the servers, the compute, and the storage that were in our data centers were owned by the customer. That makes sense.
What do you mean?
If you go to Amazon or AWS, all those servers, everything, the infrastructure is owned by Amazon. Customers don't own it; they just rent it. That's why they call it the cloud, right?
Right.
when you don't own anything, you just go use their service on the internet. You don't have to buy any data centers. You don't have to buy any hardware, any infrastructure. That's the cloud.
Oh, I see.
That's the biggest difference.
Oh, okay. And yeah, no, that is a really cool story. Uh,
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I was,
yeah, you could have worked
Mom
for
and
Google,
I were
man.
way too young to have that kind of money.
Oh,
Looking back
yeah.
on it, we
Blowing
thought it
it
was
on-
going to be that way for the rest of our lives. So
Blowing
let's
it on
Let's
Jaguars,
just keep spending it.
a lake house, a boat,
Uh,
and a jet ski.
oh, 2 jet skis.
You like? Oh yeah, we did. We did have two
I mean, the
jet
best
skis.
thing we ever did, we bought houses.
Yeah.
Right? And so that, thank God.
Like you
because
owned property.
the stock market crashed, which we were highly leveraged in the stock market. And
Wasn't that like the same crash that was in The Wolf of Wall Street, like in that intro scene?
yeah, it was, it was sad. I saw a lot of tragedies from friends and colleagues that never sold a share, but used it, margin, bought houses on margin without selling anything, and they lost it all.
Just lost everything in a bundle.
Yeah, and it's sad because we all got caught up in it, right? And Mom and I was 27, 28 at the time, and had all this money, never thought I would ever have, and
Oh yeah.
putting it in the stock market,
Well, yeah, you blow enough air into a balloon, eventually it's gonna pop.
Right. So, lesson learned.
No, live and learn.
I think I got another one coming here with our store, knock on wood. So.
Yeah, next time Google offers you a job, take it. Don't even think about it, just take it.
Well, not only that, it's just whatever money I make on this company,
Yeah.
way more conservative.
How so?
Oh, I won't invest in any startups, and the stock market burned me, so I'm not a big fan.
Well, that that makes sense.
Buy land, put it in our retirement kind of thing.
Well, yeah, you're definitely at that age where no offense, but
Well, and the other
yeah.
thing is we always put money into you guys' college fund.
Right.
Of course, you can never put too much in because, as you know, we ran out pretty fast. Paying for college tuition.
People don't need to know about that. Oh man, so yeah, that was in like the 90s.
Late 90s, yeah.
Oh
So
yeah,
we went public in 97.
that was when I was born.
Yep.
Oh wow, it's
It's a
wild.
good year.
Yeah, great year, especially for me. I'm here, talking to you, recording it. No, yeah, it's like all that money, like just cars, property, like it's pretty rock and roll, man.
Yeah. Property was a good investment. Everything else was not.
Right. No, yeah. Speaking of rock and roll, like you've actually seen like I'm probably one of the few like millennial people that's not that big into hip hop or anything like that. I'm really big into heavy metal music, rock music, and stuff like that. And you've actually seen a lot of my favorite bands live.
Mm-hmm.
And the story that I wanted you to share was like the thorough details of the story of when Motley Crue played River on the Green.
Oh, Day on the Green.
Day on the Green, that's what it was.
So back in the day,
What year was that?
oh, that was when I was in college. So probably 88, 89, 90, right around there. Late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if that was before or after. That was after Rehab. Crew.
Yeah, there was Girls tour.
Yeah, that's after Rehab.
Yeah. So, but I mean, forever they had Day on the Greens, right? Day on the Green was at Oakland Coliseum, and they would have 3 or 4 bands, and every year it would kind of change. Well, the one we went to was
Now we just have like music fests these days. Like
Ozfest.
Yeah, we got Ozfest, we got Rock Fest, we got
it's the Metal Mayhem.
oh yeah, and then there's that one in Sacramento.
Oh, what was that?
It's Aftershock.
Aftershock.
That's the one I really want to go do.
Yeah.
We
this one was Poison, Whitesnake, and Motley Crue was the headliner.
All 3 of those bands just don't add up. Like,
they're all hair metal bands.
They're all hair metal bands, but Crue's like a little bit wilder and a little bit more like heavier than both those bands.
All kind of started at the same time in the same scene.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, the LA Strip, Los Angeles bands.
Yeah, so most of the crowd there are pretty hard headbanging heavy metal heads,
Like a
right?
lot of leather vests with spikes,
Well,
like
yeah, yeah,
dudded up leather chicks and big hair.
yeah. And let's be honest, everybody really came to see Motley Crue, but when so Poison came on, and they played a few good songs, and then uh, Bret Michaels came out with his acoustic guitar and the slow music for Every Rose Has Its Thorn
For a giant scene of like metalheads
with
that like
right in front of
want
the mosh pit, and they booed his ass so
the crowd
hard.
booed him.
Oh, they booed him so hard, and he was flipping everybody off. And, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. When that was when Tommy Lee first started doing the rotating drum.
Oh yeah, the roller coaster
roller coaster drum
drum
where
set.
you go, you'd elevate and the thing
I don't
would
know how you.
spin.
That's insane how you could play drums and like as you're upside down, like rotating like that.
It was pretty cool.
I'm pretty sure cocaine helped, at least in the beginning.
It was a great concert. It was a great concert, other than the Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
Well, yeah, that's actually is kind of cool because just that part is pretty funny. I was never really that big into Poison, you know.
I mean, I like them. I like a few of their songs, and Bret Michaels is cool.
Yeah, like I'm not saying they don't have good songs. Like Every Rose Has Its Thorn. It's a good song when you're by yourself.
Or on a date.
Yeah, or on a date. Like you play it. I'm assuming like that's a song like in the '80s. Like you play it on the radio when you drive her down up to a cliff when it wasn't creepy back then, so you can get laid in the back seat.
Right. Make out point.
Yeah, it was make out point kind of music, but not when you're not in a crowd full of metalheads. No. It's like, come on, dude. That's like a ballad.
It was a total buzzkill.
Oh, a total buzzkill.
The cool thing when Whitesnake was playing, David Coverdale was dating Tawny Katane at the time.
Oh my gosh, she was
smoking hot. She was
so hot. Like,
video.
wasn't she in the video? Like,
yeah.
What was it called? Here I Go Again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Rolling
she's
around on
dancing.
the car.
She's dancing on the car.
So you could see her backstage. We had binoculars. We were up in the bleeds.
Oh yeah, binoculars.
Yeah, so you
had
see
binoculars.
There's Tawny Katane.
Yeah.
Not in the mosh pit.
Well, yeah, you're definitely not a moshing kind of dude.
No.
No, yeah, but
then you should tell everybody about the first concert you went to.
oh yeah, the first concert you took me to with Mark Donati, who makes great wine, by the way.
Shout out to Donati Vineyards.
Yeah, shout out to Donati Vineyards. I'm looking for sponsors, so if you're listening.
He gave you a hat.
No, yeah, my first concert ever is when I was I turned 13, and I was really big into it was Kiss, the Alive 35 tour. I mean, and like obviously they were older, but they could still rock, and we were like 8 rows away from Gene.
Yeah, we purposely got the seats where we knew Gene was going to be because Brent was such a big fan of Gene.
Oh, who isn't? Like, it's
And
Gene, and we could remember when he spit the fire. We could feel the heat of the
heat from his fires.
That was awesome.
It was awesome.
And then he flew on stage and did God of Thunder.
Yep, that was cool.
That was cool.
Buck Cherry.
Oh yeah, the opening. That's such an odd band to open for Kiss, though. Don't you think?
I thought so.
Like
they were good.
No. That's how I got into Buck Cherry. That's how I became a Buck Cherry fan. Is like because of that show. It's just because Buck Cherry, all those guys are like modern age, like hard rock, like
right.
all tattoos.
Kiss is like 40 years older than them.
40 years older than them. Like they're all tattoos, singing harder kind of songs, and like modern day LA Strip, which is like a little bit more punkier, a little bit more hard rocker, at least like in the 2007s and the early 2010s. Now it's all dominated by, it's all dominated by hip hop, rap. Yeah, there's still like rock and roll music happening in Los Angeles, but just not as much like these days.
Right.
I've tend to notice, which is honestly sad.
Yeah, I mean, look at what happened after the LA Strip. It kind of went up to Seattle with the grunge movement, and then.
Oh yeah, then in the '90s, Seattle was like the place to be with grunge music.
Right.
Yeah.
It shifts.
Yeah, isn't that strange? Like it kind of shifts around. Like in the 1970s, everyone was going to New York
Or the Bay Area in the '60s.
In the
Or yeah,
in the 60s, everyone was going to San Francisco. That's where the scene was happening. Then in the 70s, it was in New York with the punk rock scene.
right.
And then in the 80s, it was back in Los Angeles with hard rock, hair metal bands,
Yeah,
like thrash metal bands.
even punk.
No, yeah, even punk. And then in the 90s, it went up to Seattle, of all places. Seattle,
Grunge,
yeah,
Nirvana,
Pearl Jam,
Pearl
dude. Yeah,
Jam.
I'm a huge Pearl Jam fan, dude. I love Eddie Vedder. Uh, all right, so we're coming up on 40 minutes now. So now it's time to get into my favorite part of the segment, which is film. So basically what I wanted to talk to you about in regarding movies, since it's the I'm a film student and all. Have you ever noticed that there's really, and being a hunter, have you ever really noticed that there's really not that many movies, like very cinematic movies that like feature like hunting, like actually like modern day hunting, I should say.
Yeah, I mean,
The only one I could think of is that one with Josh Brolin that was on Netflix about deer hunting. That was kind of a comedy.
yeah, I mean, you look back to the Deer Hunter, and
That's the only one.
even
That's the only good one.
even back to Jeremiah Johnson, and yeah, there really isn't. Um, I think because there's a lot of politics involved these days, and anti-hunting, and
Yeah,
PETA and all that stuff.
I know. It's almost like, yeah, we can make three John Wick movies where he's killing everybody, but we can't make a comedy about some guys trying to find a deer to kill.
But we really like a movie when a big grizzly bear eats everybody.
I was gonna bring I was gonna bring that
The
up.
Edge.
I was gonna bring that up actually. Like if I recommend anybody see the movie The Edge with Anthony Hopkins, who played Hannibal Lecter, and Alec Baldwin. It is a phenomenal survival kind of movie.
Yeah.
Like if anybody out there is like really big fans of The Revenant, you will definitely love The
Same,
Edge.
yeah.
It's like more of a modern day survival story where these guys are just getting hunted by this wild grizzly bear and stranded in the middle of the
Well, same
Alaska
with
woods.
the one with Liam Neeson where he
Oh, The
wolves,
Gray.
the Gray.
Yeah, but those are more like survival movies,
Right.
not really like hunting flicks. The only
But
one,
they're being, people are okay with that because animals are eating people.
well, yeah, animals are eating
But
people,
I think if
but
you showed it,
eventually they do kill the animal.
right. But I think if you showed a movie, documentary or movie, of what we do, I don't know if that would go over so well.
Yeah, but it also depends like on how you deliver it, and also like what the game is you're hunting. But then again, maybe it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, look at Moby Dick, right? Hunting a whale. The whale was kind of hunting them.
Yeah,
But they were
there.
actually whale hunters.
Yeah, but there's actually more movies about fishing and hunting sea creatures
Right.
than there are like hunting things on land. Like,
Well,
what's the divide? Have you ever noticed that? No one has any problem with killing fish, but as soon as you hunt something that's like around land or flies in the sky, all of a sudden you're a monster.
yeah, yeah. Well, I as much as I hate redos,
You mean
there are some good
remakes?
remakes.
Yeah.
I really think someone should redo Jeremiah Johnson. I think it'd be awesome. I mean, it's been so long.
Yeah. What was that one about again? And that's
It was
like
a true story. So he's actually buried in California. He was a soldier in the Civil War and wanted to be a mountain man. Wanted to be a trapper and learned how to be a trapper and fought Indians, and it's really Robert Redford's in it. It's a great movie, one of my all-time favorites. But
Oh, it's Robert Redford?
yeah, he played Jeremiah Johnson.
Oh yeah, I never saw Jeremiah Johnson.
Yes, you did.
I don't think I have.
You remember it. I definitely showed it to
No,
you.
I know what Jeremiah Johnson is, but I don't think I've actually ever seen it, which I need to check out. And if you guys haven't seen it, my dad's recommendation, Jeremiah Johnson.
Maybe that'd be a good remake, or
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
And as a film student, maybe you could think about some kind of, hunting movie, even if it was back in the day, where they had to hunt to survive.
No, yeah, like that would be a good one. Or you
Frontier.
could even make a movie that can kind of almost appease not really. You can't make a movie or a piece of entertainment to appease everybody
No,
because not everybody's gonna
no.
like it. But you could also like probably make a movie like I like movies like that tackle like wildlife, like in the Jeremiah Johnson days, like back in like the 1800s,
Mm-hmm.
where it was like
Old
the
West,
old
the
west, kind
frontier.
of the frontier, where there's like Native American tribes still roaming around, and like they're still like threatening because we're on their land.
You
And
do one about the Italians that immigrated over here in
that's
California
that's
that
actually a good point.
survived
Yeah.
on fishing,
Oh yeah,
which
the seven fishes.
they ate Chipino and they ate all this expensive because they couldn't afford red meat. Now
Right.
look at turning it the other way around. Now it's the most expensive thing on the menu.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like I guarantee. You know how many people have never heard of cioppino? No, barely anybody knows what it is.
But even crab and stuff that they eat out, they used to eat that every day,
Yeah,
and now it's the most expensive. It's more expensive than a steak.
I know. Back then, it was like
They couldn't afford to eat red meat.
yeah. Back then, red meat was like
But you could show
gold.
how the Italians, how they lived off the sea,
Hmm.
and how they waterfowl hunted. They hunted ducks and geese. They were market hunters. Back then, you could do that. They were market hunters. They would hunt all these ducks and geese, and not only would they eat them themselves, but they would sell them on the market, just like they would sell crabs and lobsters and fish.
Yeah, like vendors in New York.
I think that would be a great story.
That actually would be a good story. That
It
would be
was
a
like
cool
the
story.
early, the Depression.
No, yeah, the early Depression, and like you could probably showcase like the Italian stereotype, the mob trying to kind of
Yeah,
come in, like the guys selling like geese meat
and they took
into New York or
even the
something.
baseball stars, like that picture I have, of Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and Ty Cobb went duck hunting.
And
Yeah,
what a picture that is!
right.
Like,
I mean,
didn't they
three of the
let
best baseball players in history were
yeah,
in the San Francisco Bay hunting ducks.
all that's crazy? Like, and all on different teams.
Right.
Like rivalries on the field, but buddies in the blind.
And that's what it's all about. And I've told you this. It's not always about shooting or killing the animal. It's the camaraderie, as you know.
No, I definitely.
Look at all our friends. You don't really care about. You do like to hunt, but you care about, and I care about is going to breakfast or going to dinner with the guys or
No, yeah,
hanging
like
out at the Bullsby at the duck camp and chopping it up.
oh no, yeah, absolutely. Just shooting shit with everybody at the camp.
That's the fun part.
No,
That's what it's all
that
about.
is honestly like my favorite
And
part
taking
about.
kids out.
Oh yeah, that is really cool.
New hunters and
Oh yeah.
experience.
No, yeah, the hang is like just as is possibly even more fulfilling than the actual hunt itself. It's like the bonding,
Right. That's why
the
there's
camaraderie.
people have hunting lodges. That
Yeah,
you cook dinner, you have a few pops and play cards and chop it up, watch football. I mean,
yeah,
that's the fun part.
bust each other's balls. Absolutely. Okay, now it is time for Buddha's random top five. So these are like random top five questions, like a random top five list.
Mm-hmm.
And since you're a hunter, Craig, your random top five are five people you would like to go hunting with. Name five of them
5 people I would like to go hunting with.
that you haven't been hunting with before in your life.
Uncle Ted Nugent.
Okay, Ted. Oh my gosh, yeah, but on his ranch, right?
Yeah, in
Yeah,
Texas.
yeah. You want the invite,
Yes, please. Uh,
Uncle Ted, if you're listening.
Phil Roberson, the duck commander.
Duck Commander. All right. I knew that one was coming.
I'd have to go with the meat eater.
Who's the remind me?
Stephen, God, was it Krill? No, it's Joe Rogan's buddy.
Oh no, yeah, that guy, the show, the Meat
The
Eater,
meat eater.
that guy.
I know his first name's Steve. I can't remember his last name.
Yeah, you'd want him to take you out and like.
Yeah, I'd like to go hunt with him and Joe. Would be badass.
Oh, so Joe Rogan.
Right.
Yeah, Joe Rogan would be awesome. I would love to go hunting. I would love just to
Um,
hang out with Joe Rogan.
Probably Jim Shockey.
Jim Shockey. Who's Jim Shockey?
He's a big game hunter. Hunts all over the world. He's got his own show.
Hmm.
Do they have to be hunters, or are they?
No, they could be anybody. Just anybody. Just five people.
God, who else?
even someone that you think that would never go hunting with, but it could be hilarious to watch them try to hunt, or like or someone just that you admire, like anybody.
Mm, I don't know. Those are the top ones.
Okay, all right. Let me rephrase it. For the last one, someone that you know or like assumes has never been hunting in their life, and like a famous person, someone you think has never been hunted in your life, but you'd like to go hunt, like share a duck blind with.
Like just get them into it.
Yeah, to get them into it.
Hmm. I don't know. That's a tough one. Donald Trump.
Oh.
Just kidding.
No.
Just kidding.
It could be interesting, but I feel like he'd be talking about himself the whole time. Like, did you see that shot? The shot I just took? It was epic. He probably just talked about how great that shot was.
Vin Scully, but he's too old.
Yeah, big Vin Scully fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man.
All right, how about a baseball player? Just a baseball player you could take hunting. Just to narrow it down.
Now, or does it? I mean, Chipper Jones likes to hunt, but he...
Like alive or dead.
Alive or dead. Probably Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth. That's a good one.
Babe, cool.
Just hanging out with the Babe in general would be that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be really cool. Maybe share a cigar. Everyone knows the Babe loved his cigars, his stogies.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all the time we got at If Anybody's Listening podcast with Brent Buda. I'd like to thank my guest, my dad, Craig Buda. Thanks for coming.
You bet, man. Good luck.
Yeah, and we're going to end this podcast with my movie and TV recommendations. The first movie recommendation is a film on Amazon Prime called The Silencing, which is a very interesting movie. It actually is set in Canada. It's a thriller about a serial killer that's hunting people for sport, and the main protagonist is a loner that lives in the woods and used to be a big game hunter. So it's basically a story of like hunter versus hunter. It's a good one to check.
The guy that played Jaime Lannister.
Yeah, and it stars the same actor that played Jaime Lannister in the hit show Game of Thrones. And my TV recommendation is by far one of my favorite shows that's on. It's currently in its second season, and that is The Boys on Amazon Prime. It is a satirical look at what if superheroes were real and like how power really gets to them. So it takes an underground group of ex-CIA operatives to actually kill what they call supes, which are superheroes, and it turns out that superheroes are corrupted by their own power, and they're actually only doing good deeds as a publicity stunt for their own celebrity. But behind the curtains, they're actually terrible, like narcissistic and very vain people. It's a very interesting look at like a what if scenario kind of universe. Also check out it's based off a graphic novel series. If you want, check out the graphic novel series as well. And if anyone's listening, it's Brent Buda signing off.